All right, for my fourth pick of the Sunday six-pack, I'm going with the New Orleans Saints -3 at BetMGM against the Green Bay Packers. I think there might be a juice 3 out there. I got 3 flat earlier in the week. For this contest, it doesn't matter if they win by 3. It's not a win anyway. Before the season, when both teams are healthy, I made this line 7.5. Now, the Packers have played a little better. I haven't budged their power ratings that much. Look, I mean, the Packers are setting records. They're the third team in NFL history to score 40 points or more in the first 2 weeks. They're the second team in NFL history to eclipse 1,000 yards of offense and 85 points in the first 2 weeks of a season, joining the 91 Bills. But look, they played the Vikings, a bunch of rookie corners, a decimated defense, and then they played the Lions with a rookie corner making his first start and the rest of their secondary out. I mean, look, this is the same offense as last year. I don't understand. Everyone, all of a sudden, the narrative was the Packers overachieved. They're going to regress. Then they had a bad draft. And then now it's, they beat 2 bad teams in 2 weeks, Super Bowl. Like, no. So, I mean, the defense has been in blowouts. Had huge leads. This is still an awful run defense. The Saints, look, Michael, I'm leading the charge on Drew Brees is done. He has no arm strength, and now his accuracy is gone. And, I mean, I said last week on the pod, he was 24th in adjusted completion percentage after week 1. And Michael Thomas, I'm assuming, is out for this game. And I still make it just under 5. So I'm definitely laying 3 here in a spot where Sean Payton's the third most profitable coach in our database, 128 coaches after a loss. Right up there with Belichick since 2003. They'll bounce back here at that embarrassing performance. Look, it was just a sloppy game, one of those games on the West Coast. Everything went wrong. I think that New Orleans, even without Thomas, they're going to be able to move the ball with their short passing, and especially on the ground. It wouldn't shock me if New Orleans runs for 250 yards in this game. I cannot see Green Bay just extending and blowing them out like they've done their first 2 opponents, which then forces their opponent to throw, and that plays into how Green Bay wants to play defense. The other side of the ball, this is the first real defense that Green Bay will face all year with actual NFL corners that aren't rookies. So this line is an extreme overreaction, and judging by everyone's bets, it's not, because the entire world is on Green Bay. I was talking with an odds maker out in Vegas. He said 7 out of every 8 bets is coming in on the Packers. So this is a definition of a buy low, sell high spot after the New Orleans looked awful on Monday night, and the Packers have set all kinds of records, but against bad teams. I'm not overreacting. Give me the Saints here as 3-point home favorites.
Yeah, I would probably be right with you. I actually have it, my line power rated for the Saints -3, so I'm in line with the market, and that's
you and corner. I'm right. Shocked at all this.
And for me, and this was something that I've been saying, before the season. I wrote a piece about it in week 1. The quarterback cliff. It's swift. It comes fast. It takes us by surprise sometimes because quarterbacks can be so good for so long. And once you get into your late 30s, early 40s, you never quite know. Like, you have a guy like Tom Brady, he goes on forever. Drew Brees, you think he's done, then he comes back with one of his best seasons last year after looking kind of shaky in the previous year. So you never know. But I'm officially worried about Brees. The completion percentage down 10 points. You mentioned the awful Raiders defense. The fact that New Orleans came out so flat on offense and couldn't do more against that defense I know it was on the road, and New Orleans doesn't play as well on the road, but that's a little worrisome. Now, I do think, like, if you're going one way or the other, you have to take, you have to bet on New Orleans because it's kind of an overreaction spot. So I do agree, but this is a stay away for me just because I'm anxious to see, what Brees can do, and especially without Thomas. I mean, his completion percentage is down 10 points while the league average has gone up. So he's actually now below league average completion rate after setting the record and breaking it the last 2 years. He's 64.7. The league is above 66. And his yards per attempt is under 7. Now, it's just 2 weeks, but again, he played the Raiders. So I do, though, think that New Orleans has a decisive edge when they hand the ball off to Kamara and Murray, because Green Bay through 2 weeks, for as well as they've played, number 32 dead last in early down success rate on deep defense. That's per Sharp Football Stats. And if for people that don't know, the reason we look at early downs is because it tends to be a little more predictive when you take out third downs, which are a little noisier, kind of unique situations. It's a little tougher to convert in most spots. You see more turnovers and blitzes and things like that. So, the early downs are where you want to look to filter out the noise. Green Bay dead last in run defense. And I believe they struggled a lot in the early part of last year on run defense as well. Didn't really get it corrected till much later in the year. So if I had to lean one way or another, I would go New Orleans, but I'll be watching for Breeze.
Breeze stinks, but I still like the Saints.